How to deal with employees who do not follow instructions. One of the most frustrating leadership challenges, but also one that is easily solvable. Here's what to do when you said it 5 times and it still doesn't resolve. I'll walk you through a way on how to reset expectations without the tension. By the end of this video, you'll know how to handle instruction resistance with clarity, fairness, and accountability. As you can imagine, I hear it quite a bit from business owners. Well, I have well-documented processes, or I have processes documented, but my employees are not following instructions. I tell them over and over and they just don't do it. And then sometimes it can go into, well, it's my industry. People in my industry don't follow instructions. It's hard to change habits. They think they know what they're doing. The competition in the workforce market is so high that I'm going to lose my employees if I start pressing them to follow the instructions. I give up. They just don't do it. They can't do it. You name it. There are so many excuses or explanations, if you would, to why this is not being done. The bottom line is it can be done. People can be trained. Now, you might have hired somebody who cannot, but that becomes a hiring problem, which we can discuss separately. But if you have a good hiring process and you are hiring the correct people, then they can be trained. And also realize that if it is a company-wide problem, then it's probably the way the training is being done. It's not a problem with a specific individual. So the first thing is, when you hire your employees, you got to onboard them correctly. And if you subscribe to my channel right here and look for all the videos that I created about how to onboard an employee correctly and how to create onboarding checklists that work and how to create onboarding checklists that work every single time, then you will know how to onboard correctly. But we are talking in this video on training your existing employees and how to handle situations where you're giving instructions and they're not being followed. So the first thing is that you have to make sure that those instructions are clear. Now you might say, yeah, I'm giving very clear instructions. And it might be the case, but those instructions have to be based on written procedures. Because when you're talking to someone, they might be thinking about something completely different. They might only give you 5% of their attention. We don't know. But if you give it to them in writing as a written procedure, then they have it in front of them and they will be able to read it. Or maybe it's in a video form. They will be able to watch the video and they can do it over and over again until they understand it. But even more than that, you have something to refer to. It's not, oh, I told you to do that. Oh, you didn't hear me? No, you didn't tell me. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. Oh, what a waste of time, right? Instead of, okay, here's our procedure. Let's say you're talking to a driver in your company that was supposed to deliver something and maybe it was delivered, but the order was not signed. Well, let's pull up the procedure. Right here it says, deliver the order has to be signed. So we can't really start correcting the team member or the employee until we have that documented correctly. And that is a key component. And it has to be documented in such a way that is clear, includes all the steps, easy to understand. It utilizes all the ways that people learn, meaning using visuals, audio, video, read and write, written instructions. Those processes have to be written in such a way that your team members can understand them. They also have to be published and they have to be in a place that is easily accessible. And I talk a lot about it in my videos in terms of having a single source of truth. So if you subscribe to my channel and you listen to my other videos, you know what I'm talking about. If we have that, then if the instructions are not being followed, you can actually do something about it. Now you have to dig and find the root cause. So why weren't the instructions followed? Maybe there is lack of clarity. Maybe the process is obsolete or doesn't apply anymore, so the person didn't follow the process. Might be that they never learned it, although they should have, because that's part of rolling it out. Whatever it is, you can sit in front of that person, pull up the procedure on the screen or in writing in a piece of paper and go over and say, okay, it says right here to do this. What does that mean to you? How do you do it? Show me. And you can see if they can understand how to do it. Or you can say, okay, is there anything here that doesn't make sense to you? Is there anything here that you disagree with? And you can have that conversation and then you can teach, drill, practice how to do it. Okay, I understand there was a mistake here. All right, well, let's drill how to do it correctly. Let's let's take a look at the script. Let's take a look at the instructions. And then you're doing something that is easy for them to follow. You're allowing them to be successful, because without it, you're not allowing them to really be successful. If you repeated it and you showed it to them in writing and did exactly what I told you to do, and they're still not following instructions, well, then the conversation is different. The conversation at that point is like, I've showed it to you 5 times, what's happening? And then you can have a different conversation. But the conversation can be very precise and very exact, and you can then start using different methods in order to make sure that that is being followed. It also allows the employee to be accountable for their actions, because they know exactly what is expected for them. And something very magical will happen when you do that. You will all of a sudden will be able to separate and see what the problem actually is, because not all problems are the same as all problems. Meaning, it's not this big, huge, I can't train my staff, or it's impossible to train my people. No, it will be more certain percentage, probably 80 or 90% of my people I can train, and they're doing well, and I can improve, and I can see where I can also improve my processes and train them better. And it's a win-win situation. You will have a certain percentage that you won't be able to train. And then you will also have to ask yourself the question, is that the right person in the right seat, or the right person for my organization? But instead of thinking, oh, now I have to fire everyone because they just cannot be trained, it will be more like, okay, well, I have a situation here with employee X, and I'm going to deal with that particular employee separately. This is a method that works for many companies, and you can do it as well. So definitely try it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'll be happy to coach you through that. But remember, in order for this to be successful, you got to have your processes and procedures well documented. So watch my next video where I will walk you through how to correctly document your processes and procedures. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.